everyone. I'm Darian Gold, and welcome to All Things Pilates Season 6. As we dig deeper into the life of a contrologist, this season's guest list shares what the Pilates methodology can offer to anyone who desires health and wellness. On this show, we'll explore, seek, and investigate what's possible when we incorporate contrology into our lives. Switzerland is known for dark chocolate, Rolex watches, and the Alps. But it's also a country where contrology is gaining its footing. Pilates studio owner Lynn Grandjean, our guest today, is helping to bring more attention to Joe's method. As a former CPA, Lynn has used her business background to create a Pilates retreat specifically for the Pilates studio owner. On this final interview of Season 6, whether you join one of Lynn's upcoming retreats or just simply unplug from your studio responsibilities, we're both here to remind you that your body and soul need your attention, with no strings or springs. Let's learn more about this retreat concept. Welcome to the show, Lynn.
Hi, Darian. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Yes, I am well, and thank you so much for joining us.
This is super exciting. My first podcast on.
Yay! I'm glad it's mine.
Yeah.
Well, Lynn, how did a CPA end up being a Pilates studio owner?
Wow, that's a very long question, but a super interesting one. Yes, I am a CPA, a certified practicing accountant. I traveled the world looking after the financial health of many companies. And with that, I lived in Australia, Singapore, New York, London, and Geneva. And I finally ended up meeting my husband here in Geneva, Switzerland, which is why I'm living here now and have a studio. Let me start. We actually started a family, and my American friend told me that I have to do Pilates because that's what all Hollywood stars do. I'm not joking when I tell you this. So I actually started my path as a client and discovered Pilates. I absolutely fell in love with it in the first session that I had. And
can I ask you, could I stop you right there?
Sure.
You fell in love with it. Why?
It was just so different. So growing up in Australia, it's an extremely outdoor, sporty, activity, exercise-based environment. But Pilates totally threw it off my guard. I mean, I honestly thought I was going to go there for fitness. And let's just say it was a little bit irresponsible now that I've got the education behind me. But one of the very first exercises I did was called the short spine on the reformer.
Oh, my.
I know. It doesn't matter. We won't go there.
Okay.
I didn't even know what a scoop was. I didn't even know what lengthening a spine was, but I did it. And it made me feel so alive. It vascularized me, and I came out feeling $1 million. And I was hooked. I literally was. And then I had a number of teachers that took me along this path because of the circumstances of having a family. I'd shifted a little bit around in terms of finding the right studio for me. And what I had realized was that everybody was teaching differently, and it threw me off. I couldn't understand why. And I decided I wanted to find out about it myself. So in actual fact, what I actually ended up doing, being a very logical and curious person that I am, is that I went to go and learn to become a Pilates teacher. Not to become a teacher, but for myself so that I could learn about the exercises and what my body was supposed to be doing, simply because I couldn't get the right answers out of the teachers that I was encountering.
Did you feel comfortable asking questions?
Oh yeah, I'm a big mouth, and I have no problem asking. So
But you didn't get answers that felt satisfying.
And they weren't logical. I mean, there was just no logic in it. And it took me a long time and my entire path as a Pilates teacher to understand, in actual fact, that I was really doing fitness on Pilates equipment. You understand that whole history.
Oh, yes.
So once I became a teacher, I opened up a home studio, which is where I'm at right now. And I eventually became a Lolita Legacy educator.
What is that exactly?
So it's Lolita San Miguel, and it's her method of teaching Pilates to become a teacher.
Based on what Joe taught her?
Correct. Absolutely. And I very quickly outgrew, my studio here at home, doing a teacher training program at home, you can imagine, with people coming in and out. It just wasn't working. So I opened up my own bricks and mortar studio in the watchmaking industry of Geneva. But I had a little bit of bad luck because I opened it 2 weeks before COVID hit.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was, I was off to a rocky start. But
Can I ask you,
Mhm.
you're still a CPA at this point in time.
I am not registered at the moment because I don't ever intend on going back.
But when you were discovering Pilates, had you already had your babies?
Correct. I did. I had my two little ones.
Were you still a CPA or did you transition into a mom?
No. I was a CPA. I was juggling mom and being a CPA. And then
Pilates.
Pilates came into my life. Now, I didn't realize it would have, turned into a complete career change. That is not at all what I wanted to do. I just wanted to have answers for myself so that I could get some depth to what I was doing and understand it, because it was so perplexing to me how much depth there was in certain moments of doing certain exercises. And I kind of wanted that more and more. I started to crave more of that. And I couldn't find it within the resources that I had in front of me.
Oh, even going through that program and teaching for Lolita, is that correct?
Yeah, it was a very long path for me. The moment that I lay my body on a piece of classical equipment.
Oh, here we go.
There we go.
Yes.
The story starts, is when I went, what on earth have I been doing? So, a lot of energy and learning and cost and time and money, yes, were past. I don't regret it at all. But it doesn't work for my body in that way. It doesn't speak to me. It doesn't feel that good. And the power of actually having classical Pilates, once I touched that, was just no going back. To the stage that I actually sold all of my equipment in my Pilates studio, waited for the grants to come through. And I am now the largest classical studio in the French-speaking part of Switzerland.
Oh, impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I believe in it that much. It was, it's an extremely huge investment. And it took a lot of energy and effort for me to be able to bring that to this part of the world.
And you feel ready to be in those shoes.
Absolutely 100%. I mean, I cannot tell you the number of clients I have walked into my studio and then come out and said, but I've done Pilates before, but it's nothing like this before.
I know.
Yeah. And it's frustration on their part, but I did years and years of it and with a lot of investment. So I feel for them. But, you can't look back. There's no regrets. It is what it is. And now a lot of them are becoming seriously addicted to classical Pilates.
Like you, now they have the questions that perhaps you can answer.
Absolutely. And I would go down the track of saying that I'm slightly obsessed with it. And I do a lot
Most people are.
And I do a lot of educative workshops for my clients so that they can progress themselves and so that they don't have all the questions that I had. Because sometimes just being able to explain it simply without having to do the whole education, obviously that sparks a lot of curiosity for some people. And that's kind of my little legacy.
I love it. I love it. In the introduction, I mentioned about the topic today, which is your retreat concept.
Mm-hmm.
Let's first talk about how do you define a retreat?
Well, a retreat is an experience for a group of people, and in this case, they're studio owners, Pilates studio owners, to get away from the usual routine and to be able to recharge and regain energy. That's the whole idea behind a retreat. The retreat that I have planned for May 2025 is about taking studio owners away from the business of running a studio to being able to work on their studio. And it's the capability of actually having a big picture as opposed to working within the weeds of it all, so that they can actually think about their strategy and their business development, and most of all, to have this headspace to do that from a clear point of view. That's what the whole thing is about.
How did you become inspired to create this concept? Because you're coming from a CPA background, so you have all this business knowledge. Then you have your first Pilates experience, which is leaves a little bit to be desired. Then you lie down on a classical reformer and the heavens open and the doves fly overhead and you know this is it. How did you go from all of that progression to recognizing that you've combined your talents and you want to share this with probably overworked studio owners that need your guidance and need your life experience to help them grow and be more efficient in their studio endeavors? Is there a question in there? What, did I just ask you a question?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I went off.
No, absolutely, you did. I mean,
okay, good.
How did I come full circle is your question. Yeah, so, based on my experience, I'm actually also a business coach, and a lot of studios around here have actually opened up and asked me questions. I'm part of the Pilates Swiss board, and in actual fact, a lot of studio owners have come up to me and asked me for business advice. And it tend to be a little bit repetitive in what you see. And what I actually realize is that a lot of studio owners are in their own little pockets, trying to deal with the same issues over and over and over, and losing their time and energy and effort to feeling trapped. And a lot of them didn't realize that running a business is very different from running a passion, or sharing a passion, I should say.
Oh, that's a great tagline. Do you have that on your website? I love that.
I do not. Yeah, that is the absolute truth. And it hit me like a ton of bricks when I opened my studio. The level of daily operations that you have to be on top of, as well as teaching, as well as leadership skills, as well as finding the correct team, as well as keeping your clients happy.
And yourself.
And yourself, most importantly, and making sure that you're sticking to your vision and your purpose, hence being really aligned with what is important to you. Because if you have that in you, your teaching and your studio will be a success. People will be drawn to this. There is the whole financial aspect of it. And, as I explained to you before, having a healthy body, you have to have a healthy company. It's the same thing. You need to nourish your company and fuel it so that you can grow and be strategic about where you place your energy and effort.
100%.
Yeah. So in actual fact, what I've done is I've actually seen that this is happening. I'm a big proponent of getting coaching. I have my own coaching, just like I have my own private coaching for Pilates on a consistent basis. I also have my own business coaching, because there's absolutely nothing like having an eagle eye from the outside, helping you to make sure that you correctly keep your path. Yeah, for what's right for you. So I'm a big proponent. I've been to a number of business retreats. And on the last business retreat I went on, I happened to meet another Pilates studio owner. And we clicked like you wouldn't believe. I mean, there was sharing, exchanging, ideas, networking, all of this sort of naturally came together. And during this retreat, I was thinking, my goodness, I mean, I should be doing this for other Pilates studio owners. Instead of us doing individual coaching here and there, let's create something a little bit stronger, a little bit more of a network that we can all benefit from on an ongoing basis. And most importantly is you don't feel so alone as a business owner.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yes.
Sometimes the silly questions that you want to ask, but you just don't have anybody to ask, it's all there for you. Once you get a nice network of like-minded people, people that you've bonded with and shared with, that actually bring it to another level of networking. I'm still in contact with this lady. We do, daily, I mean, or maybe probably weekly, more likely now, exchanges over questions about, do you think this is a good idea, or I'm planning on doing this? What do you think? And sometimes just bouncing these ideas off each other is worth it. It's priceless, really.
I think that's the direction that studio owners need to go now, because way back when we were never encouraged, I don't think, to quote unquote business bond with other studio owners. There was always this sense of competition, which is utterly ridiculous.
Really.
And I love the idea of coming together with like-minded teachers who have all had, maybe even coming from different practices and different education, but that everyone is running a studio and they're all some very standard needs that people need and want and can learn. I love the idea of bouncing ideas off, because ideas grow other ideas.
Absolutely. When you're actually away from your day-to-day environment and you're with...
Your mind opens.
Correct. You open your mind, you step away, you're expired, you're making connections with other people. Other ideas just pop into your head, and this energy and synergy grows, and it can actually become very addictive, because you actually feel normalized in your situation, because there's limitless possibilities. And this whole idea, you've brought it up, of competition and everybody guarding and being secretive. If you're a good teacher and you have your heart and soul and passion in what you do, you will constantly have clients.
Yes.
There's absolutely no doubt about that in my mind. And instead of us, fighting against each other, why don't we just benefit and grow the love of Pilates and the passion of Pilates amongst the community? That's the whole goal of this.
Where do you host your retreats?
Well, the next one we have, by the way, it's called the Pilates Business and Beyond Retreat.
Oh.
And the beyond part is the absolutely imperative part of it, because that is the part where you go away.
That's the dessert. That's the dessert.
Absolutely. Well, in this case, that's the chocolate, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. The next retreat is in Crans-Montana, Switzerland. Crans-Montana is actually in the heart of the Alps. It's a ski domain in a highly sought after area that people want to go and stay in. Think 360 degrees, of views of the Alps. We have a number of beautiful activities that are balanced out, because we don't want to be just doing business, of course. You want to have a little bit of fun. You want to unwind. You want to be spoiled, including things such as visiting a local thermal spa where you're sitting amongst the Alps with, water that's this is just absolutely spectacular.
Oh, my goodness.
We visit some typical charming little Swiss villages. You think postcard. We're eating fondues in a local wine cave. We spectacular, breathtaking walks in pure nature, which the freshest air you could possibly imagine. And we have some crystal sound baths that are also going to be taking place to kind of calm and reset and open up your mind, ready for the mindset work. Yeah.
I think people's tongues are hanging out right now. It sounds divine.
It is. It is absolutely. I've chosen a luxurious chalet in the heart of Crans-Montana with the views. There's a private chef who will be using all local produce and local wines.
Oh my God! Wait, I have to stop you there. How many people are you taking?
We are only taking 8 people because it's actually the magic number. I've been to a number of retreats where we've had too many and it's a bit chaotic. And I've been to retreats where there haven't been enough and you don't have enough energy exchange and growth that's happening. And 8's the magic number. You've got the intimate group that can really bond and that can really take it further afterwards, after the retreat. Yeah.
Can you talk about your expert guidance that you obviously will provide during the retreat? So can you give like a scenario?
Well, we're combining it with a couple of things. I've got from the outside, I have a Swiss crystal sound bath lady coming in, and she's going to be doing some meditative work for you to really clear your mind. I also have a life coach that's coming in, and she's going to be doing some mindset work. And from my point of view, I will be doing one-on-one privates with you so that if you've got anything else, personal or private, or things that you really want to work on, we've got that opportunity, as well as having a CEO day.
Hey everyone, want to level up your teaser? When I'm not interviewing or editing, I'm helping students just like you get to the next level. If you'd like to understand the Contrology technique, come learn from me, whether online or in person. Just know I'm here and happy to help. Now, back to the interview.
The CEO Day is all about you taking a break from everything, looking from the next level, listening to your problems, what's working, what's not working, having it analyzed and looked at by all of us, as well as me being guiding that, and then figuring out solutions to the problems that are what's actually slowing you down. What's stopping you from going to the next level? Excuse me?
Is this what you refer to as a business snapshot?
A business snapshot is a little bit more of a financial aspect, and it's really the numbers behind the business. So that's kind of showing you the health. Let's call it like having a static postural check. That's what a business snapshot would be. What I'm talking about is more the future ahead, learning from what is working and not working in your studio, and more importantly, how you can actually maximize so that you are using your time efficiently. We have to be honest about all of this. There is a financial aspect to all of this. People want to make money. I mean, you're opening up a business, you're taking a lot of risks. There are people pulling you in a million directions. You're going to have to learn a whole new levels of skills, financial, right through to team leading. There has to be a financial reward for this.
Yeah.
You've got to be running a business, not running a studio. This is a very big difference.
And you break that down.
Absolutely. Before you come in, each attendee will be giving a little bit of a financial snapshot to me so that I have an idea and I can go through all of that with them so that we can really be guided and much more specific and efficient in our time over the week that we're together in Crans-Montana. So the whole idea, yes. So the whole idea is that actually we're coming in with some direction already.
Which means the 8 attendees have already communicated with you before you meet them in person to talk about the financial aspect of their business so that the game plan develops and evolves once you're together with everyone's energy and supporting each other.
Correct. And so that I can actually have a clear line on which direction I also need to go in.
What do you hope the attendees, once they become much more aligned with their vision, what do you hope will happen once they leave? How do they take all that beautiful energy and learning experience with them? How will that translate? How will they not start to feel alone again?
Oh, absolutely not, because this network will continue. I mean, you are going to be constantly sharing, and this community will continue to flourish. We will have groups that we continue on with, that we can pull each other's information from in the future. So you're not going to be dropped after a week and say goodbye to everybody. But more importantly, what they're actually going to take away is clear, actionable steps that they can actually use for their studio as soon as they get back. So they know what direction they're going into. I mean, that's the whole idea, is that they have valuable takeaways, apart from having fun and being spoiled and having a break from it all. Let's just be clear. is that they have a clear path forward with steps to go to back to and actually implement in their studio. We will create a super supportive network of studio owners. So everyone that we have met, we're going to be creating a long-lasting relationship. At the moment, this is actually on a Voxer channel. In other words, we can ping things off each other. I'm trying to work out some more concrete, let's call it that way, ways of communication. So I'm working through those details as we go along.
Oh, I was just going to ask you to elaborate because I don't know what Vox means.
Vox is like a walkie-talkie system where you can sort of shoot questions off and get immediate responses from everyone.
Oh, like when you're in the wilderness and you're...
Yeah, you can kind of go, hi guys, I've had a really rough week. This happened to me with my team member. I'm thinking of doing this to resolve it. What do you guys think?
Is this international?
The attendees can be international, absolutely.
And this walkie-talkie?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Apparatus?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not an apparatus. It's an app on the App Store that you download. And it's what I like about it is it keeps your business chat separate from all of your personal stuff. So it's a group that grows, and you can silence it if you don't want to, if it starts to bother you. But it's a way for you to get relatively rapid replies from your network.
Is it like WhatsApp?
It is. It is, but WhatsApp does groups. Voxer does the same thing. It just is, Voxer works mainly, I'm going to say that, but you can also do text, mainly by voice.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
The big difference with WhatsApp is that it's in real time. So in other words, as I'm speaking, you will hear it directly, as opposed to having to wait for me to finish to send the message and then you can read it.
Do you use it now?
I do, absolutely. I do it with the all the people that I met on those business retreats that don't run Pilates studios, but have other forms of studios or other forms of businesses that they have that I've met through.
And so if the 8 attendees, they're just learning about this now, you will direct them to the App Store, they'll download it, you'll do like a test or something.
Oh, yeah. So this all happens before they actually leave because I don't want them to come to Crans-Montana and then finally meet these people. So as soon as you're registered to come into the retreat, we have a welcoming call where everybody gets on a Zoom and we get to meet each other. We have questions and answers, all the typical questions about traveling, plugs, currency, all that kind of stuff. All the details of how the flow of the retreat goes, documents that they need to send through, snapshots that they need to get through so that we're all prepared systematically all the way through. Through this channel, they communicate directly about their travel plans. And a lot of them actually link up before so that they're sharing taxis or trains or flights and they're coming in at the same time. And that's where the whole magic starts. It's creating this energy and this excitement that builds towards helping each other in a very supportive way and leaving with clear idea of where you're going. And on top of it, this whole network and potential collaboration that you'll have with the other attendees for growth.
Are the 8 attendees flying into the same airport?
So what we've found is that some attendees come in a little bit earlier to profit because they are flying long haul. So they'll come in and discover something in the area. For example, Crans-Montana is in the heart of Switzerland. Some people fly into Zurich. Some people fly into Geneva. Some people go to Paris and then take a train all the way through to the Alps, which is absolutely spectacular. And either or, at either end of the actual retreat, most people combine it. There are a few people who fly in and out. People who come in from the UK or Europe fly in and out.
I'm asking for myself, and I'm sure everyone listening who can imagine being one of those 8 people. How do we find out more? How do we sign up? There's just 8 slots, so you might be inundated. What how should people reach out to you?
So the easiest way is through my email, which is lynn at onepilatesstudio.ch. And I presume you can drop a link in the show notes at the bottom. I will also give you my website, which has got all of the payment details and details of the dates and day-by-day itinerary for what happens
What
during
is your
the
website?
retreat. So it's a long-winded one, and it's a Kajabi website. So do you want me to say that out loud now?
Yes, of course. And then, of course, it will be in the show notes. But for people listening,
okay, well, now you've got me, and I've got to look that one up.
What is Kajabi? Sounds like a coffee in Africa somewhere.
Oh, really?
Sounds like a cup of coffee.
That's hilarious.
Would you like some Kajabi?
It could actually be a coffee. That's true. So Kajabi is actually a course, how do we say it? A course platform or an e-learning platform that allows me, so I've got my teacher training on there. I've also got my business coaching on that retreat, on that website. And basically it's like a library, let's call it that, of course content. I just absolutely found it. And then, of course, I lost it.
This isn't embedded in a standard website. This is your website.
So Kajabi is a platform that you can have many different landing pages on and course content. And this is a landing page that's on it. But so it's actually Lynn, Lynn hyphen Grandjean, GRANDJEAN .mykajabi, mykajabi.com /Pilates business retreat.
That sounds logical.
It's logical, but it's long. I might have to do
long and logical.
Yeah, there you go. So from there, all the details are on. We've got shared rooms, not many, and we've got private rooms. And we've got a payment plan. So for those that want to, space out their payments, it's obviously a tax deduction from a business point of view. And it's going to be lots of fun.
Sounds fantastic. So people have to think about covering at their studio, flight, not necessarily food because you'll be taken care of for that. It's a week?
It's 5 days, 5 nights.
5 nights, 6 days.
You come in, there's a welcoming apéro, there are drinks, there are dinners, lunches, breakfasts provided. All of the trips, cultural trips are taken care of so that you don't have to think about anything at all. And we've also built in a really nice balance of having some personal time to yourself so that you can explore the surrounding areas, either on your own if you want some time by yourself or with your fellow attendees. And otherwise, you can enjoy the chalet, which is just absolutely spectacular.
Do you have a photo of it? I can't believe it.
I do. On the website, there are lots of photos of it, but I can't believe that I managed to get this chalet because
I can believe it. You're business savvy. It's
just gorgeous. It really is. It's a stunning view. And it's luxury. Think luxury. It's not an old shabby chalet. It's just stunning. It's got 2 kitchens, one for the staff and one for the...
And weather in Switzerland in May is what?
Gorgeous. Spring. So you're talking beautiful hikes, light jacket. I'm going to say this with a caveat, which is global warming. We never know what's going to go on. But typically in the month of May, it is perfect weather for a light jacket. You can be outside. It gets nice and cool in the evening so that we can get nice and cozy in front of the fire. But it's a perfect balance of time.
It sounds absolutely delicious, Lynn.
It is. That fondue and that chocolate, I tell you. The last attendee that came in packed her suitcase with the chocolates.
Oh,
even I was shocked.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much it's so great to meet you and that Lynn, for those of you that don't know, Lynn reached out to me and we started a conversation and she told me about this retreat concept. And I thought, what a beautiful way to end season 6 with hope and imagination, even if you're not one of those 8 participants, just the idea of being in a space that makes you feel so taken care of that you can let go of all your everyday responsibilities, that it is really a time just for you to come to you. Just like I was saying in the intro, the body and the soul, we have to keep replenishing because we give so much of our energy to our students, and sometimes there just isn't anything left for us. So when Lynn described this idea, I thought, yes, this is what we're going to do at the end. And so if you're not one of those 8 people, those 8 lucky people, do take some time because you deserve it. You've earned it. And you're the most important person in your being. And then when you nurture that, you have so much more to give without any resentment.
Absolutely. The energy in what you can give back is much more than what you can possibly imagine when you actually invest in yourself, take the time out from your business, and really realign with what sits well with you and what direction, because, things can just unravel or things can go to the way that actually aligns with what you want to create and what you want to share with the world.
I know you haven't begun marketing, and this podcast is definitely the first step to getting the word out. Would you be considering any kind of discount for our listeners?
Yeah. So I'm trying the route of doing this podcast because I've never done one before. So I'm super excited about that. And just for you, Darian, we're going to have a Darian Gold special. And I thought, yeah, well, for all your listeners that are interested in coming along, they just have to mention it to me when they write to me on my email. And I'm going to offer 250 euros off the
price. Euros would be about...
Yeah, it's pretty close to US dollars. It's probably about 275 approximately. And I'm also going to give them a one-on-one private business coaching call on top of it.
Oh, okay. And what does that consist of?
Well, they can use it the way that they like, either before or just after the retreat as a follow-up. Typically, people who come on call with me, they do a 1-hour business audit, and they're kind of looking at getting clear guidance on 1 or 2 topics that they need real help on. From anything from sales to finding their ideal client, to making sure that their marketing message is very clear, to looking at their numbers in detail and seeing, these options are available for you to grow and to have opportunities there. But that's totally up to them. They can use that in any which way or form that they would like to use their private.
Oh, so you're including and you're offering, if what they mentioned, Darian Gold, that sounds kind of nice.
Yeah, it's a Darian Gold special.
I love it because ordinarily, what do you charge?
Well, for a business audit like that, for one-off, it's a 450.
Oh,
it's a nice little savings.
Nice little savings, yes.
Yeah. So the retreat is happening, just for clarity, on May 13 to 18, 2025 in Crans-Montana, Switzerland, which is in the middle of the Alps. There are shared rooms available, and the shared rooms are starting with a payment plan of $788 per month, or they can pay in full. Otherwise, their private rooms are available also at $988 with a payment plan.
And they can get more information on the website that you let us know about.
Absolutely. Those are all detailed there. They can actually look at the room, look at the chalet, look at Crans-Montana, look at the Loikabad, which is the little village that we're going to. And of course, look a little bit about me, because they have to obviously be curious about who I am and what I can bring to them. And come with an open mind. Be ready for fun. Be ready to be relaxed and pampered and take a break from it all. And come back feeling really refreshed, aligned with what really works for you and your business, and then ready to tackle.
Wonderful. That sounds great.
Whole goal.
Thank you, Lynn Grandjean. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank
you.
in French, but there you go. That's great. Thanks, Darian.
All Things Pilates is produced, written, edited, and hosted by me, Darian Gold. Mastered audio mix, Fabian Romero. Original music, aka Johnny. And we'd love for you to leave us a review on Apple Podcast or Spotify. That way you let all of us know what you like about All Things Pilates. Also, if you're interested in helping to support this podcast, become a subscriber. It helps to cover all the back-end costs that accrue when producing a show. To learn more about how you can be part of our growing community, check out our show notes. There are no little events in life. Those we think of no consequence may be full of fate, and it is at our risk if we neglect the acquaintances and opportunities that seem to be casually offered and of small importance. Amelia E. Barr.